thought that we would sit down today and have another infertility chat with you guys. We thought that our last one went really well, and you know, we have a lot to talk about because we've been going through infertility for 4 years, and we've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and we thought that, you know, this kind of videos are good to share. Maybe some of you can relate to what we went through, and we can help somebody who is going through it as well.
Definitely. It's the sort of video that, you know, hopefully somebody brand new can stumble upon it, and somebody who's just out there looking for answers, maybe for the first time, and maybe we can help to provide some.
Yeah. Today's topic will be a male perspective on infertility, and obviously Ryan, my husband.
I will be the male today. I will.
He's going to play the part of the male.
I will share my perspective.
But we thought that was a very interesting topic because we hear from so many of you, and you constantly comment how amazing it is to see a supportive husband, and you know that Ryan can go to every single appointment with me. And yes, it's amazing. It's amazing to have Ryan with me all the time, and I feel
we're really fortunate.
We are very fortunate, Ryan and I, and I feel especially very fortunate to have my husband with me through this process. But it's important for you guys to know that it wasn't always like this. You know, this is 4 years of infertility for us to get to where we are today. When we're ready to you know, start a family, Ryan and I had an IUD, and I had it removed for us to get pregnant. Or I had it removed so I could get pregnant.
Yeah, it's called Mirena.
Mirena IUD. That's what I had before. After I had my IUD removed, my cycles never ever regulated. And even before the IUD, I was on birth control from a very young age as a teenager because I never had regular cycles ever in my life. So I knew something was wrong. I had a feeling right in the beginning that, you know, something wasn't right. I had a feeling that we were going to have a hard time getting pregnant from the beginning.
And I was like, let's just ride this out, right? I mean, I'm thinking to myself, it's way too early in this game to think to ourselves that there could be any sort of a problem. I thought, you know, let's not have scary conversations if we don't need to have them. Let's just see what happens here, because most of the time it just works. That's my perspective on it. At least it was at the time, right? Most of the time you try, it takes some time, who knows what happens, but sooner or later, success. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And, you know, a year went by and nothing happened.
And nothing.
So finally we're able to be referred, after a year of trying with no success, we're able to be referred to an infertility specialist in Chicago, where we lived. And we went through a few exams with that doctor. However, at the time we discovered that our insurance didn't cover anything related to infertility. Not even exams, not even, like nothing. Not an ultrasound or a doctor's appointment would be covered because the diagnosis was PCOS, which is considered infertility by insurance.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that back then, so we're in Chicago and we were working totally different schedules, Priscilla and I was working like restaurant evening schedules, Priscilla the more traditional 9 to 5, and it wasn't then like it is now. I wasn't able to accompany to every single appointment.
No.
We weren't even able to have constant conversations about this because some days we were like ships passing in the night. Like I would get home after Priscilla had already gone to bed, and she'd be gone the next morning for work before I got up, you know? So it was tough on us. It put a strain, I think, on us beginning a process like this when we just didn't have the time to both focus on it together. It made it difficult.
Very, very difficult. I was growing more and more frustrated, and I was growing more and more sad, you know, with this whole process, because I wanted to be pregnant and I wanted to have a baby then. And without having any, you know, regular schedules between the two of us, I felt really that I was lacking support from my husband at the time. And I ended up buying a book for you. Do you remember that?
I do. And it was called wait a second, give me a second here. What to Expect When She's Not Expecting. That's what it was called.
By the way, an excellent book. I highly recommend it. I bought it through Amazon and I read the book. And
I would not know how to recommend it because I feel guilty here, but it's the truth. I never read it. It was difficult in the beginning for me to take it so seriously. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that this was a biological issue with Priscilla, right? There was a diagnosis, there was PCOS, and I knew that this was going on inside her, but still I don't think that I could comprehend the fact that this was stopping us dead in our tracks, and that it wasn't something that would just go away. We share the same ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to have a family here. And it's something that I want just as much as she does. I did then, I do now, and I had to come to understand that I needed to be walking with her in lockstep through this situation, because otherwise we weren't going to reach that goal. This problem wasn't going to go away. It was nothing that I could fix. It was nothing that time could fix. It would take a concerted effort from both of us in order to see our way through this.
This conclusion didn't come easily either. You know, we had countless conversations. We had countless sit downs, he and I. And really, you know, for me as his wife and as the one who carries the infertility issue between the two of us, I had to, you know, constantly remind him that there was a problem. You know, this is not something that magically is going to go away. And yes, some people get pregnant, you know, even with infertility issues, but we also had to do our part, which is to do our very best to solve the problem. And, you know, it was, again, hours and hours of conversation, and our relationship grew from it. It really did. I think that, you know, nowadays I was able, the same way that he eventually was able to put himself in my shoes and, you know, be empathetic to me, I also had to be empathetic to him and not only think, oh, he just needs to be there for me and that's it. No, as a man, he's also suffering in a different way, you know?
This is a good point, I think, to make, because there are so many great resources out there for women who are dealing with these sorts of issues, and a lot of times it's women supporting other women, and as well it should be, frankly, because it's women who more often than not are dealing with this issue directly, and it's guys who end up playing a supportive role. But I think sometimes, though, it's important to remember that, you know, the guys are suffering too, but in our own quiet and reserved fashion. I think I was left feeling empty watching you suffer, watching you go through these issues and not knowing exactly always what to say, how to help, how to be supportive. Should I just sit there and nod? Should I try to open my mouth and say something? I just didn't know often what to do. And it took a long time, and I think a lot of conversation for the two of us to slowly work through this. And one of our hopes, I know, is that videos like this can serve, you know, as a resource for not just the ladies out there, but for the guys also that are suffering, and so often silently. You know, here's something for you. You know, a way to look at somebody like me who's gone through this issue and has been grasping for answers, like perhaps so many of you are. All I can say is that they don't come easily. They don't come overnight. Given the right amount of time and the support of your wife also, you can slowly move through issues like this.
Yeah. And for women or men who are feeling that, you know, you're not getting the support from your partner, I think it's very important, this is our experience, to constantly try to talk about it and not to put your feelings inside and that's it, and lock it up and not talk about it. It's very important to constantly have communication with your partner, and also, you know, put yourself in the other person's shoes, because you love that person. They're your partner for a reason. You never want to see them suffering.
You don't.
And
you don't.
and you know, it's so important to have 100% empathy, you know, in your relationship. When you are able to imagine yourself in the other person's shoes, it's much easier for you to understand what they're going through.
Now here we are, you know, ours is a pretty unique story. We find ourselves going through this in Brazil. We're, you know, thousands of miles away from Chicago, where we started our journey, and we find ourselves in such fortunate circumstances. I'm able to accompany to every appointment, and you know, and it means a lot. I know to Priscilla, it means a lot to me to be able to be there, and I know that not all of you will have the same amount of freedom in your schedule, the same amount of time available to be there for your significant other, but I'll tell you, just from experience, be there as much as you can, because it matters. It helps to fill in the blanks, it helps to answer questions, and it helps helps you to understand that you really are going through this together, and that you really are there for one another and to support one another, and you know that, you know, together you're that much stronger, and that you can fight through this together, and we know we're getting that much closer every single day to the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. So you guys, we hope that this video was helpful to you. Let us know in the comments below what was the biggest hardship that you had to overcome with your partner in this journey, and let us know if there's anything else that you'd like us to talk about when it comes to this infertility chats. We're thinking that we can make this as a series perhaps, and, you know, sit downs, because we are experienced on infertility.
Yeah, and we enjoy it a lot. It's
Yeah.
an opportunity for us to, you know, maybe share some of the things that we've learned, and again, the whole goal of all of this is to help others. So I hope somebody out there somewhere can take something away from this, and it will help.
Absolutely. And we hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and leave us a lovely comment below.
Definitely.
And subscribe if you haven't yet. We are going to come back with another video very soon. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Yeah. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you again soon.